Hello, welcome to my channel. If you don't already know me, my name is Chevelle, or Chevelle as I go by on Instagram and all that. This is just going to be a look that I would do really quickly, kind of a nude, dramatic. Oh shit, she better go in with the voiceover, and here I am filling in my eyebrows. I use a tiny little slanted brush that I stole from my sister, and I just use Anastasia Dip Brow to kind of fill in underneath and carve out my eyebrow. Before I do that, I just brush them out a little bit, but they're already naturally pretty thick, so I don't have to really do much to them. And I just do this so that they're both as even as possible. And after I do that, I'm just going to be using Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I'm pretty sure I used just the light shade. And I put that underneath with a little concealer brush to kind of carve them out even more and make them really crispy and even. I don't know what I was talking about, but I was passionate. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here, is just filling them in and making them nice and crispy for y'all. Check it, look. There she goes, both brows with the concealer, and then I'm using that as a primer for my eyeshadow. And once I have it all ready to be blended on, I'm just going to be using a neutral color, the lightest brown shade in this Tartist Pro palette, and I'm going to be putting that all in my crease with this Morphe fluffy brush. And this is just kind of the base of what I'm doing. This look isn't really that complicated, so there's not much to it. I'm just using this to blend it out and get it ready for all of the good shit I'm about to put on top of it. Just you wait. And I did that on both eyes, and then I put the same color on top of my lid just so that I can blend it out even more with the same old dirty brush. You got it. You got it. And after I have that all nice and blended out, I'm just going to be taking the same brush that I used for the light shadows, the white ones, and I'm going to be putting it back under my brow to kind of blend it all on top and make sure that it's not a harsh line. And then, you know what's good? We start on the face. I like to use a silicone primer. When I was doing this look, I was using the Maybelline Baby Skin, and I like it just because it really does kind of smooth out the entire face. Really nice and good. Look at her blend. Look at her rub her face like that. What the fuck? How much rubbing do you have to do? But yeah, seriously, make sure the whole base is nice and even before you go on. And once you have your whole face blended, you're going to want to put concealer. I'm using the same concealer that I put on right underneath my brow and on my lids. And I'm just putting this everywhere that I want to highlight, like under my eyes, the tip of my nose, where I have smile lines. Just anywhere you want to highlight and make it pop, you know. And once I'm done applying the concealer, I'm just going to be baking my face. And I am super overboard with the baking. I don't give a fuck. I like the way it looks, and it might look crazy right now. I'm poking myself in the eye, but it is worth it in the end because this is basically going to lock in everything that you put on and make an even better base for when you're going to be contouring and all that jazz in the very near future. And I'm just using Coty's Airspun. It's kind of like a knockoff Laura Mercier loose powder. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to be, contouring. I'm sorry, I cannot take myself seriously. I'm using Makeup Forever. This is just a darker powder than what I would normally use. It's like their foundation powder. And I'm carving out my cheekbones underneath the cheekbones and blending upwards. And I like to blend up and in circular motions just so that it's kind of a gradient look. I don't like it to be harsh. And once I do that, I like to contour my nose. I don't really contour the sides. I like to contour it into kind of like a button shape. And so I just put a line across the top of where I want it to recede and underneath. And I just blend that out with kind of a little flat brush that my that I've had for a while. And once I have my nose all blended out and ready to go, I'm going to be using a kind of cone-shaped brush. I'm going to be using this with a pressed powder, just whatever powder you would use for your face anyways. I use like a cheap one, a Maybelline Fit Me one, and I put that under my eyes, where my smile lines are, everywhere that I had highlighted it previously. And I do this just so that everything is really cohesive and blended out really nicely between the wet and dry products. And once I'm done blending all of the loose powder out, I like to use a slanted blush brush, and I'm going to be using this little e.l.f. palette that I have, and it has 4 different shades in it, and I'm going to be using the coral one. And I apply this to the apples of my cheeks, the tip of my nose, sometimes even the cupid bow. Girl, I don't know, I go overboard with the blush. It's cute as fuck. You can't hate. Right after I'm done with the blush and I've blended that out to my standard, I like to highlight, girl. Yes, dip the highlight. I'm using the Anastasia Glow palette, and I spray my face. I mix witch hazel and glycerin to make kind of a MAC Fix Plus dupe, because I'm not trying to pay the full price for that. And I spray my face first because I feel like this makes the highlight pop. I put it on my cheekbones, eyebrow bones, you know, everywhere you want to pop. And once I have that everywhere that I want it, I like to blend it out a little bit more just so that it's not super harsh, and I like to make it cohesive with everything else. And I might be taking a dry beauty blender with the same Coty Airspun as before and baking underneath my contour line and where my smile lines are, because I just like to set this super good and make it nice and crispy. And once that's crispy enough to my standards, like I said, I'm going to be taking a little blending brush. This is a Real Techniques as well. And I'm using the same dark eyeshadow powder as before underneath the eyes to kind of bring it all together, girly. Yes. After I've blended it all out and I like the look of my eyes, I'm going to be using the highlight from the same Tarte's Pro palette and a little tiny pointy Morphe brush, and I'm going to be putting that right underneath my brow where I'd highlighted before, and I'm just kind of putting that really smooth, dab it on a little bit, swirl it on, do whatever you want, make it pop. Just make it pop at all fucking costs. Jeez. You got gold on your neck too? And even though eyebrows are sisters not twins, do the same thing to both, and then whip out your Benefit Gimme Brow to set your eyebrows. I put this on top to kind of just solidify them and make sure they stay in place all day. I love this little magic wand. You can also put on falsies at this point if you like to wear falsies, but my eyelashes don't really need them, so I don't use them. I'm kind of just getting to the root and then wiggling up. There's no special trick to this. Now line your lips. I'm using Urban Decay and like Naked or whatever. And this doesn't have to be perfect at all by any means, because you're going to be putting lipstick over it, and a lot of the time I'll put lip gloss right now, but I kind of want to wear a matte lip, so I'm going to be using Anastasia Stripped. That's nice. And just putting that everywhere else on the lip and filling it in. And while I do this, I just think really long and hard about everything. The look, life, love, What y'all thinking about at this point of this video? Let me know. Leave a comment. I'm just filling in my lips with Stripped by Anastasia. And I just put in my TTDI contacts. I'll definitely link that for those of you who want to purchase some. These are just the black circle ring ones. It's pretty much the whole look. This is kind of just an easy, like, quick, not a lot of attention to detail type of thing. So if there are any looks that are kind of like confusing that I've done that you want me to do, just let me know. But to finish off, I'm just going to be using the Urban Decay. Are you kidding me? I clearly just woke up and shit smells so good. Does not taste as good as it smells. I just got some in my mouth and just let that sit. And I like to finish off just with some of the matte powder and just kind of put it wherever I don't want it to be shiny. Everything, the music is going to be linked down below, as well as the contacts. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, follow me, all that bullshit. And I'll see you next time.